and welcome back to another episode of Jen and Dan's Natural Healing with Plants. I'm Jen, your health educator, coach, and master herbalist.
And I'm Dan, your exercise specialist and fellow master herbalist. Today we're unveiling the top 10 must-have herbs for your home apothecary.
Yes, so in our homes, we need to have certain herbs and spices that are really like medicine. You know, we have our own herbal medicine cabinet. A lot of people think we need to have special herbs, but a lot of these on our list are culinary herbs. So you use them in your foods, and people don't realize how medicinal they actually are. Sometimes to get those therapeutic doses, we need to have more than just like a quarter teaspoon or a half a teaspoon, and we'll talk about that as we go along.
Yes, when you're using herbs for medicinal purposes, sometimes you need a lot more depending whether you have an acute illness or you're trying to stay healthy. If it's something acute, you may need more to get your body, let's say, more balanced.
Yeah, I like to think of it as if it's an illness that came on slowly, then we don't need to go on, we're not going to attack it aggressively. We
Yeah.
need to go back. If it took you 20 years to develop a condition, it's going to take you a while to get back. And we start to use the herbs and spices in a different way. What we're talking about today is more like, well, a lot of these are for chronic conditions, but a lot of them are for acute. So things that came on suddenly and we want to knock them out hard. And so when we do that, if it came on quickly, we want to attack it quickly. And so we use larger doses for things like that in general. So I do want to give us give a little medical disclaimer. The information we're giving today is for educational purposes only. You need to run anything by your medical provider, of course.
All right, Jen. So which herb do we want to start with?
And let's talk about cayenne.
Oh, yeah. The master.
Yes, yes, yes. And so a lot of people are afraid of cayenne. It's so hot and spicy, but it is so potent and it is wonderful for our digestion. It's wonderful for circulation. It is a great pain reliever. It can stop bleeding. You get a cut. Um, it's going to sting for a second, but it's going to stop the bleeding right away. I actually have some powdered ginger right in the middle of my island. And so if someone gets cut outside, they can run in, use the cayenne. If they're in the kitchen using a knife or something, they can immediately put the cayenne and stop that bleeding. But that means it also helps with bleeding internally. If someone has stomach ulcers, any kind of injury in their intestinal tract, a lot of times they're like, what? I can't have cayenne. That actually is helpful. It sounds scary because it does sting, but it's not going to sting on the inside. We don't have those same pain receptors internally. Now, we're not saying take a cup of cayenne. You start low and build up if you're taking it internally. I think Dr. Christopher said, is it a quarter teaspoon and then work your way up to,
Yeah.
was it, no, tablespoon sounds humongous. A tablespoon 3 times a
No,
day, or is
no,
it
no,
teaspoon three
teaspoon. It's
times
a
a day?
teaspoon
Okay.
3 times a day.
Okay. I was thinking tablespoon. Holy cow. I could never get to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, what you were saying about the gastrointestinal tract, you remember David, he recommends it for ulcers. It actually can heal ulcers. It seems counterintuitive, but it actually, when you take the cayenne, it causes more mucus to form in your stomach and colon, which protects the ulcer from stomach acid. And that's the
Yeah.
reason it helps heal the ulcer.
Yeah. Yeah. And it can even help with blood pressure.
Oh, yeah.
If someone feels faint or dizzy, giving them a cayenne tincture helps to balance out the blood sugar. I was going to add to that too. It can help with nosebleeds. If someone has a nosebleed, then you put cayenne in water, have them drink that. That can help stop the nosebleed.
And with, heart disease is the number one killer, and taking cayenne regularly can protect your cardiovascular system. It helps protect your arteries and your heart. It keeps them strong, and it helps keep your cholesterol down. I mean, that's how Dr. Christopher had rheumatic heart disease, really bad heart disease. He was able to reverse it with a lot of cayenne pepper and, of course, the plant-based diet.
Yes.
So I think I'd rather take cayenne pepper than aspirin personally. Yeah.
Of course. Yes. 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 Yeah. And but he did have you taking it like every day before meals.
Yep.
Yeah, to even help with digestion with apple cider vinegar and molasses and cayenne.
hmm
Yeah.
It's also good for the bowels. Some people, it helps them have better bowel movements. It doesn't do that to me, but some people it helps that. So
Ah, I didn't know that.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's good internally, it's good externally. You can even buy like a cayenne salve for pain. A lot of people like that. It's kind of like the icy hot. Of course, it doesn't have the menthol in it, but sometimes you can get them with the menthol in it too. Um, but I know a lot of people do like cayenne salve for pain.
Yeah, there are a lot of people that says it helps if you have arthritis, it can help that because I can't remember exactly, but there's a substance P that your nerves send to your brain, or your brain sends it down to your nerves to for pain signals, and the cayenne pepper actually blocks the signal. So that's how it works for pain. I've heard a lot of stories about cayenne pepper helping arthritic knees or shoulders.
Yeah, I have too. Yeah. Okay. So let's move on to number two. Number two is oregano.
Oh yeah.
Yes. So why should we use oregano? So number one, who doesn't have oregano already in their kitchen? And so it's great. It's something you can use regularly, but as a flavoring agent. But why else do we use oregano?
It's really good for infections if you get the oregano oil, the powerful oil. That's where I first discovered oregano. My wife, she would get urinary tract infections every year. And she would go to the doctor and they give her antibiotics. It would clear it up, but it would always come back. And then one year we tried oregano oil and it cleared the infection up in 3 days. And she doesn't have problems with it anymore. Now we're plant-based now. That may be one reason it never came back. But the oregano is really powerful for urinary infections. I've seen it help that. I've seen it help people with painful teeth. If they can't get to the dentist, you can drop a oil on a cavity. It helps the pain. My dad used to do that before you could get to the dentist. So it's really good for infections.
Hmm. Yes, I like it too. I know if I don't have any oregano oil, I will just warm up a little oil just gently on the stove, just warm. You don't want to get it too hot, with oregano for a little while, and then rub that oregano oil on the bottom of the feet. Now, oregano can be hot for some people. You can also buy, oregano essential oil, but I'll just heat up like some olive oil or some coconut oil with the oregano and then rub that oil on the bottom of the feet and into the lymph nodes of the neck. You can smell, if you rub oregano oil on the bottom of your feet, you can smell oregano on your breath pretty quickly because those pores on the bottom of your feet are large and they absorb very quickly. And like Dan said, oregano is very antimicrobial. And so it's great, if you have a cold coming on, that's something, nice and gentle. Now, like I said, oregano can be warming for some people. So if you are somebody who is always hot, maybe you always have hot feet, that's something we need to talk about as far as circulatory system goes. But oregano oil may not be right for you. It's too warming for you. And so sometimes some of these things, like there's never one size fits all. And so we do need to look at the condition. If you have a cold, and you generally have cold feet, oregano oil is going to be great to help with that cold or virus. And like we said, it's antimicrobial, so antibacterial, antifungal. It's great for all of those things.
Yes. And so the next herb on the list is garlic, and that's one of my favorites. Garlic is another herb that can help with, it's actually antimicrobial, it's antiviral, it's also antiparasitic. It's also a good herb for your immune system. It actually helps increase the function of the immune system.
Yes, so we always have a ton of garlic in our home. So not only for our food, but also as a medicine. Now, if you cook the garlic, you're going to lose the medicinal properties, and so you do need it raw. You can juice it. I actually have it in my green smoothie that I haven't drank yet because I put a lot in there, so I'm a little nervous about drinking that today. But using, if you could cook something with garlic in it and then get if you have a little grater, like even on a box grater, the side is tiny, just grate a little bit of that garlic with the micro blade over your food. And so you get a little bit of that garlic flavor and you get those medicinal benefits. Something we do is garlic is like our penicillin. And so, this is probably gonna get shut down from what we're talking about today. But we use the cloves, like even if we feel sick, we feel like something's coming on, feel like maybe some kind of strep throat or something, we actually will crack a garlic clove, just one clove, crack it, and then swallow it like a pill. Now you want to smash it and let it sit because there are enzymes in there that they need to combine to create the medicinal effects. And so if you were to swallow, now don't swallow a big garlic clove. If they're larger than like a regular capsule, we'll chop them into smaller pieces. Sometimes I'll even chop it really small into honey with a little bit of cayenne. That is a fabulous way to take it. But if we're traveling or something, it's not difficult at all to go and get a garlic bulb and then break off a clove, smash it, let it sit for 10 minutes, and then break it into pieces that you can swallow and take it. Now, if you are fighting something like a cold or flu or something like that, then you want to take it more often. Remember, those came on quickly. So we want to take the garlic more often. And so, like my husband, he'll even drive around with garlic bulbs in his truck if he feels like something's coming on, and then take them throughout the day. Now, garlic is also great for circulation. It can help with blood. I know a lot of people take it as a blood thinner. So talk a little bit more about the cardiovascular benefits of garlic.
Yeah, garlic for it can help lower the blood pressure if you take enough of it. Also, it can lower your cholesterol, and it's like your Jen's saying, it is a blood thinner. Um, Now to take it that way, if you're trying to lower your blood pressure, you probably need about 3 cloves a day. There are also supplements that I've seen help people. The I think it's kyolic garlic supplements. Some of those are really good. I've seen those help people lower their blood pressure. But yeah, you have to 3 cloves is about if you're trying to lower the blood pressure and cholesterol, 3 cloves a day is your minimum dose. It takes a good bit of it to do that.
Yeah. So another way we use it is, like I said, the oregano, where I would heat up oil. So I'll gently warm oil, either olive oil or coconut oil, with smashed garlic or chopped garlic, and let it sit for a little bit. And then I will rub that garlic oil on the bottom of the feet too. If we feel like a flu or something like that. Once again, you can smell it immediately on the breath. Something else we'll do is with earache. So we feel like an earache is coming on. Um, we had a fabulous doctor when my children were babies, and the doctor actually told me to do that. Make a garlic oil, get a dropper, and drop 3 drops of garlic oil in each ear, and it was amazing. It was amazing. So my oldest child had a different pediatrician the first few years. The second one always had the same pediatrician, and I don't even know, she may not have ever had an antibiotic, but I'm thinking she did when she was maybe 14. So that, from birth, how many children can make it that long? And like I said, she might not have ever had an antibiotic. Anyway, I just know that, things like this are very helpful. Now, I'm also reminding you, this is educational purposes only. If your child has some sort of infection, sick, high fever, red streaks anywhere on their body, you go straight to the doctor. Don't do these things. These things are if they're mild. If you're working with an herbalist, you can work with your herbalist, but I am not your herbalist. And so I am not telling you what to do. You take this information, do your own due diligence, read and learn more about these herbs that we're talking about. These are things that we are doing, but we're not telling you to do these things because you can go too far. We don't want anyone to be injured by what we have said. We want you to take this information and do your own research on it.
I highly agree, Jennifer. So let's go to the next herb on the list. It's echinacea. This is an immune boosting herb.
Yes, and all of these that we're talking about are all related to colds and flus. Yes, so I love echinacea. It's a wonderful immune stimulant. It's great to take during cold and flu season in the fall, in the winter time. Now there are reasons why we have different viruses this time of year. It's also candy season, sugar season, but and we're in large crowds, we're in large gatherings. But one way you can protect yourself is by taking echinacea. Now, echinacea is one of those things that you don't want to take daily forever. So it's good to take it, like Dr. Christopher, for all of his herbs, he would say take 6 days, take a day off, 6 weeks, take a week off, take 6 months, take a month off. Like that. With echinacea, I go even farther. So I'll do like 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off, or 3 weeks on and a week off, things like that. Just because your body will get used to it, you don't want to have to keep taking more and more echinacea. But it's a great one to take to help build up your immunity to protect you against these things, to help your body do its fighting before something happens. So that if you do get exposed, it fights it off. You never even knew that you were exposed.
It's also a good herb. I learned from Schultz that if you get a bee sting or something, it can help the swelling go down faster. You have to take a lot of it, but it can help the swelling go down. I think he would take a whole 2-ounce bottle of it if he got stung, and the swelling would go down a lot quicker.
Yes, it's great for any sort of a bug bite or an allergic reaction. You have some sort of allergic reaction. Once again, if it's anaphylactic shock or something, you're going to the emergency room. If you know you have an allergy like that, use your EpiPen. But if you have a bee sting or bite or something like that, even if you eat something that you have a reaction to that's not anaphylactic shock, get your medical provider. But taking echinacea can definitely help with that.
Oh, next on our list is one I really like, lavender. I like to use
Yes.
this because I think both of us suffer from nervousness here and there, and lavender is a really good herb for relaxation.
Yes, yes, it is. And I know a lot of people like to use it. So I don't really like the smell, but I do include it in my bedtime tea. I alternate my teas for bedtime, but yes, it's a wonderful relaxant. But I'll tell you what I use it the most for is bug bites.
Oh,
If you have like an ant bite or a bug bite or something that's itching, um, lavender essential oil is one of the only essential oils that you can put directly on your skin without a carrier oil. And so I actually keep Q-tips next to my lavender oil. And so if we get a bug bite or ant bite, we just put a little bit on the Q-tip and just touch the bug bite, and it's amazing. So I don't know if it's an allergy to ants or something, but if I get an ant bite, it it gets big and it itches forever. But if I put that lavender oil on it, it doesn't itch anymore. And so that's my favorite way to use
hmm.
lavender.
Wow, that's a new one. I didn't know that one. So,
Yeah, yeah.
oh, the next one's passion flower. Now, this herb is another herb for relaxation. There's a study with passion flower. They had people that were going in for surgery, and they had one group on passion flower and another group on an anti-anxiety medication. And the passion flower worked just as well as the pharmaceutical to relax the patients before they get surgery. I thought that was a very powerful study showing that lavender can work as well as some of the pharmaceuticals.
Yes, I love, love, love passion flower. That's another one that we put in our bedtime teas. Because it is such a great relaxant. It also helps with anxiety and it helps with sleep quality. And it also helps with what I call the monkey brain. And so if you have those racing thoughts, you can't sleep because you just keep having those circulating thoughts. The things I should have said, I should have done, why didn't this, whatever, and you just can't get it to shut off. Some people even keep passion flower by the bed. And so if you wake up in the middle of the night and you start having those circulating thoughts, taking a little passion flower and going, it will help stop those circulating thoughts so that you can actually go back to sleep. I don't know
That's
how common that is, but that it's a common thing for me sometimes. If I work too late at night or something like that, then I'll have the monkey brain.
yeah, I think all of us have trouble with the monkey brain from time to time, so that's good to know. Next on the list, what we have? We have
Time.
thyme. Okay. I have a story for this one. This is good for your respiratory system. My niece, she had her son was having one winter he was having a lot of chest congestion, and she was trying a lot of different things. And I told her to try thyme, to rub it on thyme oil, rub it on his chest, and gave him some tea, and actually got the congestion out of his lungs. So it was really powerful for congestion. I remember Dr. Christopher talked about thyme. It's really good to get congestion out of the lungs. Have you ever?
Yes. Yeah. And as you know, think about it. Soup is really a tea. And
Mm.
so putting thyme into your soups or your smoothies, that's a great way to get it in too. But yeah, it's great. It's very antimicrobial as well, wonderful for respiratory conditions and coughs, and even sore throats. Honey, which isn't on our list because I guess it's not an herb. But honey is a wonderful cough syrup, and including something like stirring a little bit of powdered thyme in there can also help with that too.
Well, hopefully we're getting out of the respiratory illness season. I don't know.
Yes,
It's a good one to
yes.
have. I'm telling you, I make a tincture with thyme, and I try to keep the dry thyme around. I drink it a good bit in tea. I actually like the
Mm,
way it tastes. So,
mm. It's one that I include in my broth when I make a broth. Like if I make a potassium broth,
oh
I
yeah,
always add all these herbs that we're talking about, actually.
yeah.
Yeah. And the next one on our list. The next one is sage, which is also antimicrobial, anti-inflammatory, and perfect for respiratory health. I like to make a sage tea and breathe it to help increase a cough. So many people say, if I have this cough, I need to suppress it. I need to stop it and stop the cough. Your body's coughing to get something out of your body. And so if you can tolerate it, we need things to help um, get everything out, not stuff it back in. We need whatever, right? You're coughing for a reason, and so we need to get it out. And breathing sage tea is great for that. It's also great for oral health, and it's very anti-inflammatory. And it's another one that I include in my broth each week. It's a great little tea, just drinking. It may not sound so great, but just sage tea is really good. And like I said, it's wonderful for respiratory health. Now, where a lot of these herbs, one way you can remember is their smell. These are all those very aromatic herbs. Oregano, what we've named so far: oregano, thyme, sage, but also rosemary, basil. All these are very aromatic. They're very high in essential oils. They're very antimicrobial, antibacterial, antifungal. And so that's one way you can remember. They're just very aromatic herbs.
Yeah. The next on the list is elderberry. This is another herb that helps boost your immune system, and it helps with congestions in the lungs. But I saw a study last year on elderberry, and it says it makes your lungs slippery so the bacteria cannot attach to the lungs, it was very interesting. Sometimes like to study to see exactly how these herbs work, and that's one of the ways that elderberry works. A lot of people make it in the syrup for this elderberry syrup.
Yes, I always worry about that because it's usually so high in sugar. And so, you know, to me, that's kind of counterintuitive. So much sugar with the elderberry. But that being put aside, elderberry is very, very high in antioxidants and vitamins. And so a lot of vitamin C. So it's wonderful for enhancing your immune function, reducing inflammation, and helping with colds and flus. It is something I keep on hand at home. We usually use echinacea to help prevent getting an illness, and then we use elderberry once if we feel like we've been exposed to something or we feel like we might be coming down with something. That's when we use elderberry. And I keep the elderberry, so I do make elderberry syrup, but I do keep whole elderberries at home. So number one, I can make elderberry syrup when I need to, but I could also just throw them in and make a tea with the elderberries. I don't have to have the syrup. And they're dry, so that it's easy to keep on hand.
The last herb on the list for today is chamomile. And this is a lot of people use this herb for relaxation, and it does help relax us. I use it for sleep sometimes, but it's also a good herb for inflammation. A lot of people don't realize this. It's also used for inflammation of the skin and mucous membranes. So it's good for if you have stomach problems, it helps some people's stomach.
Yeah, and great for relaxation and anxiety and stress too. And it's easy to grow. And so if you do have an area in your yard to grow, it's so easy. My daughter, when she was really little, she would go out with me and just help me cut off the little flowers. And then we'd come in and dry them, but then she would make her own little chamomile tea. It was so cute. And it's so fun to teach your kids how to use these herbs as well.
Yes, a very I think it's very good these days because a lot of people, I feel like the art of herbalism is coming back, but for a long time it was kind of a lost art. So it was really
Yeah.
good to teach your children, if you're into it, we
Yes.
are.
Now I've heard that chamomile, you need it once again, there's no one size fits all. Um, but it's related to ragweed. And so for some people who have a ragweed allergy, they need to test chamomile. You know, don't drink a bunch of chamomile if you have ragweed allergy. Test to make sure that you don't have an allergy to it.
Yeah, that'd be unfortunate. Definitely
Yes.
want to test that.
Yes, yes, yes. And so a bonus herb that is not on our list is ginger. And I don't know how we forgot ginger. Um, but and some people turmeric too. You know, ginger and turmeric. I tend to go more towards ginger. Um, but they both are highly, highly, highly anti-inflammatory. And when you were talking about was it your dad that used a thyme,
Oregano.
oregano for
Honestly.
pain,
Yeah.
yeah. So we used ginger. And so like when my daughter had braces, we would always have ginger tea and she would drink ginger tea, go in for her adjustment, drink ginger tea on the way home and would not be sore. And so it was just a fabulous way. It's so much better than taking like Tylenol or something like that. We don't like to buy any of those pain relievers. Just, you know, Tylenol is so hard on your kidneys. NSAIDs are horrible for anyone with any sort of immune condition. And so NSAIDs are things like Aleve and Advil. And so we don't want to take those things. Once again, run everything by your doctor. But ginger is a fabulous anti-inflammatory and wonderful for pain management. Wonderful for stomach issues, for motion sickness. Um, and it's very high in antioxidants.
It even helps some women with morning sickness.
Yes, yes, right. Yeah. Something else we didn't talk about is a lot of these are wonderful for the liver. Ginger being one of them, garlic being one of them. They're just fabulous for your whole body. So add these foods whenever you can into your food. So let's go through the list one more time. So number one was cayenne.
Yep.
Um, Cayenne, remember, spicy, stops bleeding, helps with circulation, wonderful for your blood, wonderful for digestion. Um, Number two is oregano, very anti-inflammatory, antimicrobial. Wonderful for respiratory health and boosting immune system. What was number 3?
Garlic.
Garlic.
Another good one for infection. It's an immune booster. It can help lower your blood pressure and cholesterol. The next one is echinacea, the other immune booster. It's a good herb to boost your immune system, especially during cold and flu season.
Yes. Number 6, I think I lost count, was lavender. Wonderful for relaxation. Once again, I like to use it as my for bug bites. That's my favorite way to use it. Some people use lavender pillows to sleep on. Once again, I don't care for the smell. I do put it in my tea, but I don't care for the smell. And another one that I love, love, love is passionflower. I think this is number 7. Passionflower to help with the monkey brain. It's a natural sedative. Something else that is a natural sedative that we didn't mention is lemon balm. Another bonus for you. But helps with reducing anxiety and stress, promoting relaxation, and helping with a better night's sleep. So what's next on our list?
Thyme. It's good for respiratory infections and for congestion.
And so is the next one, sage.
Uh,
Sage also both wonderful for respiratory health, antimicrobial, anti-inflammatory, help with inflammation.
and then the
Um,
well, I guess we're on number 8 or 9. It's elderberry, immune boosting berry. It's also good for it helps to enhance your immune function, reduces inflammation.
and high in antioxidants and vitamins.
Yes. Eh, And the last one is chamomile. We just talked about. It's good for
Yes.
relaxation. It's good for inflammation.
And also stress and anxiety. And then our bonus was ginger, very
Oh yeah.
anti-inflammatory, wonderful pain reliever, as well as helpful for digestion and morning sickness and stomach conditions. We used to buy the dried ginger and keep it on hand so that if someone had a stomach ache or something, they can have the dried ginger. So that's great too. Anyway, I hope this was helpful for you. If you like this episode, please let us know. Subscribe to our channel, comment. We want to know how we can best serve you. This episode, all of our episodes are for you. We want to make it better for you. So thank you so much for joining us. Once again, comment, subscribe, and join us next time.